Okay, I will start sharing my screen now. So our webinar for today is the business process mapping. So for the people who are, this is their first time, this is a webinar related to the business, to the lean management philosophies. And the business process mapping is one of the essential tools in the lean processes. Now, before we proceed to that one, I'll just like establish the learning environment. So we are going for like a webinar in order to avoid any risks. We'll ask everyone to maintain their focus in the training content and park the speaking of unrelated topics. And let's have fun while learning. Before we start, let's keep an open mind and listen for the complete and understand before commenting. There is nothing called a stupid question. You are always welcome to ask your questions. There is no table of content for a reason in this presentation. So, okay. Previously, we did a presentation or a webinar about the introduction on the lean management. So the lean management is one of the Japanese methodologies, and it's called also the Toyota way. Lean is the shorter lead time to deliver a high quality product at a lower cost through improved flow by eliminating waste and reducing the variation in the value stream. Uh, the main stakeholders in any business is the customer, the process, and the employees. And each of these three stakeholders have a goal. So the customer have the highest satisfaction of his needs. And the goal of the process is to totally eliminate the waste. And the goal of the human dignity is respect of the human dignity is the goal of the employees in that company. So we are looking for the value for customers, growth of employees, attractive return of investment to the shareholders, and no waste. I'm just refreshing the memories of the people who attended the previous one, and the people who are new, I'll just give them a brief in order to understand the further of our discussion for today. So, in lean manufacturing, we want to eliminate the non-added value items. So we can eliminate them, which is the waste. So we are looking to reduce the waste to a level that will increase the percentage of the value added items. So the improvement, rather than to go for the added value activities and improve them, it is just to look into the non-value added activities and to reduce them. Some of these wastes we can eliminate, and some of them we can reduce. So any activity of any process can be considered as either value added or non-value added. So in order to determine whether it's a value added or non-value added, we need to ask ourselves the questions. Does this activity transform the material or the information to a product or service that the customer wants to pay for it? Is it done right from the first time? Is the customer willing to pay as a result of this activity? So, if it's yes of the previous questions, it's yes, it's a value added. If it's no, then it's a non-value added. And the non-value added is considered as a waste. And the waste name in the lean is called MODA. There are two types of the waste. One is essential waste and required, that we cannot remove it, or we cannot eliminate it, but we can reduce it. And there is non-required waste that we can eliminate totally. So just like to also fresh your memories, like the types of the waste are overproduction, high inventory, unnecessary movement, transportation, waiting time, unnecessary process step, reworks, underutilization of the brain of the manpower. So when we look at any process, we need to consider whether this process is a value added. Then we will continue doing that one. There's a different exercise to improve the value added processes. But now our concern is to look at the non-value added and try to eliminate them or remove them. So the companies who have invested and changed their business related, their production businesses towards lean production system are very known companies like Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, Cyclonopias, Corner Premise, Print, and Rolex. Now, just to give you a hint, we are going to have the Kaizen event in the near future, which will be like in the second week of January, and we will post it to people about it. It will be a training session. So we will have, and the Kaizen, it's basically improving the resources productivity in order to achieve more of this manpower productivity and to make it a very smooth operation. Okay. So I will share another document. Sorry. And okay, this is the business process mapping. So any business in these days, usually people have procedures and processes in order to follow it as a part of an ISO certification, or it's a part of their own quality control system, or it's a part of like doing it correctly. So many people, as like initially was stated in many of the companies, is like write what you do and do what you write. So many companies are writing, which is like one of the ISO certification slogans. They are writing their processes, and that's it. Whether it's a good process or not process, it's just written by. In lean construction, the first basic activity to look into the processes is to map it. And once it's mapped, then people can look what they are doing and check for the improvement. So it's a general approach for a business process mapping and improvement. So people can see what they are doing and start considering that one. Now, in order to do this one, it is like the approach start with the current state of the business, quantitative of the current state of the business, identifying the potential of improvement, future state of the business, roadmap of and standardization. In similar activities, we are inviting people from different departments for the process that we are going to do that one. So the first thing, we have like a big wall that we will utilize it for this process. We'll put a big paper, whether it's brown, whether it's white, but like be generous in the paper size because it will be more clear if it's a bigger one. And as you can see in that photo, it's have like a multiple participants. Now, after that, we will draw the swim lanes for each department. So if it's like start with the sales and estimation, engineering, production, construction, planning, operations, each department should have a swim lane as stated here. Now, these are the common samples used for the events and the information and material flow. The beginning and the ending point, the task, the inspection and the decision, the delay and the store. What will happen? What we need to do is like follow the process, and this is why we are inviting people from different. Don't consider to invite only the managers, because frankly speaking, a lot of managers, they don't know the details of the process. So the process starts with like an inquiry, ends up with collection of payment. This is the process. But throughout this process, there is details which is only clear to the people who are doing the job themselves. It's not clear for all the people. So whether it is going into circles, whether it is going for a store, whether it is waiting for a decision from X or Y or Z. This is why we invite the decision makers and the process doers. So they need to be involved in this one in order to register what they are looking for. So these are the types of the arrows that can be used. And frankly speaking, there is softwares that they are doing this one, but which is doing the business mapping. But as any software or any computer-based softwares, if the people start to put a makeup on what they are doing, if they are trying to do it more brilliant, the outcome will not be matching what they are doing. So, excuse my language, if shits goes in, shits goes out. It's just will process it. So people when start, they put it on the system, whether it is a constraint of the system itself, or like they are trying to make themselves more better, they will start to enter something that they are supposed to do it this way. They like to do it this way, but they are not doing it this way. So this is why we are inviting people to that board in order to put it by hand and look into that one. So the single straight arrow, it is used between two tasks performed by the same person or the same department or without a physical movement. If it's a thick arrow, then it's have a product or an information movement. If it's a zigzag arrow, it is like indicates electronic movement of the information or process. So connect the process, how we are doing it, and you can see this is one of the samples. It's a data entry and confirmation process. And usually you will end up with something like that. So a flow map starts from one activity. It starts from the start of the activity to the end of the activity. And you can find it will have like loops and others. Then what's happening? People will start realizing what is why it is taking that long. Then we ask the people to come and to have a sticker and write on it the pain points that they are having. The pain points, which is like if I'm waiting for my manager to approve the budget in order to proceed with the estimation, and I'll wait for him like for a week, and then I will discuss it with him, then he will change it, then I will change it and go back to him, then he will change it again, then I will do it again. This is a pain point. So we'll ask them everyone to go for a sticker and write inside it what is their pain point. They have to have like a card index, header, what it's about, content of that one, and if there is anything that we can do it for improvement. Some people will say like the ERP, some people will say like there is another way to do it. Now, looking at that one, we'll keep all the processes. Then we look at the process and start to summarize the current process. We look at the process steps, the decisions that they are taking, the delay points, the roles within the processes, the documents, whether it's electronic or physical, the loopbacks, the handoffs, the lead time, and the pain point. So this is a summary of what is going in a process. Once you start to write it and draw it, you will visualize. There is a lot of these activities that they can be removed. Now, each of these activities, we should go there and inspect it and see whether it's a value added or non-value added on a customer perspective. So, a shop drawing, the customer is not paying for the shop drawing. The customer is paying for a built wall. But the shop drawing is a necessity. So it is something that we cannot remove, but the customer is not going to pay for it. But we can reduce. On the other hand, if we are doing a mistake in the shop drawing and it goes back because we did not read, for example, the proper specification, this is another waste that customer is not going to pay for it, and it's not needed for the business. So now we need to put another hat and look at our activities and look for what is there that we can eliminate. Is there a waste in the processes that we can eliminate? First, we look at the defects and the loopbacks. These loopbacks, if like it goes a decision, like a shop drawing is prepared, goes to the engineering manager. The engineering manager will review it. If he doesn't like it, he will return it back to the draftsman. They will change it again, goes back to him for his review. If he doesn't like it, it will goes back to them. So these are loopbacks. In order to go further to the second activity, it is a loopback. And it's an extra manpower is required. And usually what happens that it will lead to missing deadlines and customer satisfaction will be eliminated because like if he's waiting for the shop, if you tell him I cannot start without approved shop drawing and your shop drawing is still going in a loop back in your business, he started to question your capability. So what is the cause of such loopbacks? If there is a lot of variation in the activities, if there is less qualifications, if there is limited number of standards, these are the causes for the defects and the loopbacks. If we don't have a standard of how the shop drawing is done, then the draftmans are doing it every time in a new way. So we need to have a standard work in order to eliminate that they are doing the cause. Going to the excess motion, sometimes like a junior estimator is doing it, giving it to a senior estimator, then the senior estimator give it back to him, then the junior estimator ask for the quotation from the procurement, and then the procurement will ask him, give him the quotations, then he goes back to the senior estimator, then the senior estimator asks him to check it from the store, how much they are buying it. These are excess motion, which is like you are getting it from different people and different flows. And it's not only for the people and for the material or the information. So, and the cause of that one is the lack of the information, and everything is based on a paper. Like if we are getting the quotation in a paper and it's skipped with the secretary, and every time he needs to refer back, he will go to the secretary, take it and have a copy and return back it to the secretary and take it to work on it, then he will keep it. Rather than she will get it as a PDF and circulate it to him. Whenever he wants it, he can pick it up. And the same thing for what is purchased in the store. If they can click and see what's the prices there before even asking for a quotation for that one. Excess transportation. Usually, a lot of companies, they invest in softwares. And like last month, I visited a company and they told me we are going for a software that we asked them from the beginning that we will not do any tailoring on that ERP software. And I told them why. They said like, whenever we do a tailoring, sometimes we end up with something that we don't need. And the problem is they want to follow whatever the software have done it for them. And going through one process, I discovered that the software does not match their requirement. And they've invested a lot of money on that one. So excess transportation might be caused by unmatching software or applications. Documentations are not shared in a proper way. There is like closed communication loops between companies, which is not really communicated with others. The other thing is overproducing. Multiple companies are maintaining quotations folders for the last 2 years, And I think these quotations have lost their validity after like maximum 6 months. And keeping these records, it's not really required. The other thing is unbalanced workflow. Somebody he have like 10 steps in that process to do, and the other have one step. So the guy who have one step, he usually wait for the other guy to finish until he can start. So he will get like one document and he will process it in 1 hour. Then the rest of the day, he will be just like drinking coffee, walking, and others. And the other guy, he's taking job to his home to finish it. The other thing, like a lot of people are putting just in case activities. Like, in case we got this one, we will do this one. So they are keeping loads of things ready for in case activities. And this is all can be sorted out with the standardizing. Unnecessary processing, it is like the which is like the bottlenecks of any activity. Like he is following the standard, then he's checking the standard, or he's generating it from a system, then the system is based on a standard, then he's checking that standard again. Or management are taking a long time to look into the margins every time they are giving a quotation to release. So every time they will look, oh, the margin is 20%, let us make it 17.5. And next time it will, oh, 17.5 is very less. No, I need it to be like 20 again. So they need to have a specific standard for the decision making in order not to go, and have a limits for their levels. Like if it's this level, it can be taken decision by a software by itself, by the first line of management, the second line of management, in order not to have the manager as a bottleneck for approval. Excess material or information, part of my experience was in construction site, and to be frank, we never finished a project without excess material there. And this is why, because everyone is putting a margin on any order. The designer is putting a margin. Then the requester is putting a margin for the order. Then the purchaser is putting a margin. And then the supplier is giving like a standard quantity, which is adds another standard. We end up with 10 to 20% extra material in some items. So this is excess material or excess information. Somebody is asking for the specification of one item, and the secretary just sent him the full set of the specification, which is he doesn't need it. Sometimes management have take decisions on a micro level, which is every time they will ask for more and more information. This is why they haven't set a standard for their activities. Waiting, and I think waiting can be like, should be the first one, because waiting in any process is the most cause of delaying the activities. People wait for decisions, people wait for information, people wait for data, people wait for resources, the engineering manager waits for like a draftman, the engineering, the operations waiting for a site engineer, the drawings are late, the material is late, everyone is waiting for that one. And this is when it's very tangible when we do the business process mapping, and people say like it varies. how long this process, how long this activity takes. It varies between 1 hour to a couple of weeks. And once he said like that, you can easily understand that there is lack of proper information availability, and there is lack of standardization. So the causes of the waste are basically functional organizations, IT technology gaps, excessive control. Managers, they need to go for the details of the details. Outdated process design, no backup cross-training, unbalanced work between like the resources, computer system patching. Every patch goes like in 10s, and we need, and the other person will need to wait until 10 is ready for as a patch, then he can start. Changing the management priorities, which is happens, and it disrupt any activities. There is no rules in the decision making, so the management overrule everyone, and rather than to keep hitting the management, usually it is happening because of pure visual control. The management does not have the visual of any activity. This is why they keep changing their decisions, or they keep interfering in every level of management. This organized workspace, we can easily tell when we visit companies, to have like a desk filled with papers, an output tray, input tray, and a tray that have numerous number of papers that is not related to the in and out. It is just pending or waiting or other. I remember that one time I visited one guy and he had like 6 trays on his table. One was output, one was input, and like four was filled with document without like either like input or output. And he said like, this is waiting for the bank, this is waiting for this side, this is waiting for the operations, this is waiting for the insurance. And he have like 4 different sets of documents are waiting for his decision. And I can correlate it to the lack of training, because either management and employees should have a proper training to overcome such obstacles. And organized workspaces, whether it's a desk office, or it's a production area, or it's a preparation area, or even installation area, it's a trained activity. It's not done by the expertise only, it's done with the training. These are like 7 questions that can be adopted for people to identify the waste that leads to lead to an improvement requirement. So usually it's like, how can the customer value be created without unnecessary steps? The customer is going to pay for a device, and this device, in order to be manufactured, there will be like a set of things. Which one is directly related to the value to the customer, which one is not value directly related, and which ones that we can remove. And we need to ask, is it, we need to have the eyes of the customer. Is he paying for this one or not? So what's interference and media break to be avoided? So if somebody is interfering with the activities, and always, I always recommend, once a new pair of eyes are coming to any process, to ask the question of why. So why do we need to do this one? And why do we need to do that one? Where are the bottlenecks in any process? Where's the people are waiting for that one? You can, sometimes you don't see them waiting. Sometimes they are working, but just keeping documents waiting until they have the approval on that one. And for somebody who looks at it, he said, like, there's no problem. He's working. He's just waiting a decision on this one. So he's parking it and working on another activity. But you cannot keep parking. You need to keep the flow. As we discussed before, it is the continuity of the flow that makes the improvement. If you need to keep parking things, and then you are narrowing the path for the process to pass through. The approvals, are they really necessary? If we have a standard for an activity, do we need to have approvals for each step? If we are setting the margin, why we need to look into that one? You have like a standard margin that he can process it. Why he needs to wait for the decision maker to say, yes, go ahead. And a lot of times we need to think in a different level. Can we do a parallel activities? As we discussed before, lean is basically based on a pull, not a push. So customer asks for his goods. This is where everything starts. He starts to pull things towards his requirement. We are not going, this is the customer requirement, then we start to push everything towards him, then we are crushing activities. And even the word of crushing is used because we are putting things between the customer requirement and our process. And the more the crushing, the less the output because of the friction. A small example of incoming invoices processes and the current status. So the supplier issue a paper invoice for the local address. Then it goes to the accounting. They prepare the supplier invoice for scanning. Then they scan the document of the supplier invoices. Then they enrich the invoices in manually data entry. Then it is happening on the system. Then they import the systems for that one. If you look at what happened, they removed all this one. The supplier is giving us a document that it's ready to be used in our system. So all what is like removed from these three activities is if we just ask the supplier to give us a soft copy, then the soft copy can be given to the SAP or the ERP system. The same thing in we are printing the supplier invoices for the order center, then send the order center for approval. All of this one is not required. Once it is verified, the invoice data, then it goes directly to the order center. Why we need to print it and send it to them versus we can just send it? Once we improve these, then we have the future state. And what we recommend is for companies to work on 3 states. One is the future state, which is what we can do and what was the pain points that we can eliminate in order to have this one. And one is the ideal state that might goes for like 1 year or 2 years, but it's something that we look for up to. Eventually, the business process mapping is the first step towards the lean transformation, because there is another step it is used, which is in the lean, and this is part of another training, and the VSM is the other step, which is when we start to look at the processes as a value stream mapping, not as a process. So we are looking at the value. And this is where we can put the timing of that one, and we can look at the information and the timing. And then we can decide actually how much we are doing an added value percentage of the non-value added activities. Meanwhile, by this slide, I have completed my introductory presentation for the value stream mapping, the business process mapping. And I would like to thank you for your patience for listening to me. And hopefully we can meet again in a different presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out through to me through my contacts on the social media or by email, and I will be very glad to assist you in that one. So by that, I would like to thank everyone. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for your patience, and hopefully we will have our next seminar as a training in the hotel in Dubai, and we can have you there and get more into interactive sessions rather than like a one-way communication between me and you. Okay. If you have a quick question, we still have like 5 minutes. We can answer them. If not, I'm ready to listen to your questions now.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
This is Pushpa here from India. I just had one query regarding the processing of the purchase order.
Yes.
We can well reduce the timings, but can implement lean management by, say, when we need not process the order, we need not get the customer's soft copy as well. But can we not give him a password? Can we not give the customer a password to our SAP data so that they can directly enter the order and then it can be taken up for processing?
I think this is a very valid point, which is like a lot of there is in the lean management, the partnership between the clients and the company and the suppliers it's a very valuable, important thing, which is the chain, which is the supply chain management operations, that we have both clients and the suppliers. They are in a connected platform through us. This is why they now in new ERP systems, they are asking even the quotations in our format, in the company's format. It's not in their format, in order to remove the part of the data entry. So this is always available in a proper softwares. But my concern is always like, let us look at the process and see where's the pain. Might be this is not the pain point. Maybe the pain point where you are losing and wasting the time is in a bigger item. So once we have the process of any activity, we can think, don't consider to improve the added value activities, because you can just improve it by a percentage. But if you are looking for the non-value added activities and crushing it or like eliminating it, this is where you gain the big chunk. So, but it is like the difference between one system to another. It depends on your size of the operation. If it's a size of operation that it is required to have this kind of activity, yes, I'm totally with it. But if it's a size of an operation that would not require this size of activity, I'd rather say like we can go for the normal process of the activity. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you so much for this informative session.
Thank you very much. You can also, if you want to refer back to it, I will upload it to my YouTube channel. And you can refer back to it. And if anything else, you can always connect me.
Thank you. I missed the lean management session which you conducted actually.
I think if it's, I don't think that we have uploaded, but we might upload it in the next time, or we might repeat the training again.
Okay. I just have a suggestion. Yes. Actually, I was working in a corporate sector earlier where I used to also handle the sales team plus scheduling of production and all those. But now, right now, I'm in an international school. I am a teacher.
Excellent.
Of life skills. My top subject is life skills. So what I'm actually also looking for is there is a lot of lean management which we can do in our daily life as well. So why not connect these lean management, Gemba Kaizen and all, which I used to use in corporate, to bring it to my students also is one of my aim. Because, you know, right from beginning, if we are giving some training on this, because you all of us know, right? Currently, the employability skills is lacking in lots of people.
Definitely.
If we are trying to introduce some of these sessions like lean management, Gemba Kaizen and all, that's what I was looking out for also actually. So
I'm ready to discuss this matter of with you. Actually, I'm happy to do a seminar for your students if you would like. It's based on your requirements. Of the topics that I've done before or now, which is I can do. Basically, if people they don't have a background, I will go for the introduction, which is like another 50 to 60 minutes, and then we can take it from there. Our Kaizen event is actually, it will be having an examples of actual life, and I don't want to expose a lot, but we are doing like a Kaizen event on a small processes that is happening inside a kitchen. To show people things tangible to their.
When is that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you.
Yes. So please, if you want to go for something like an online session to your students, I'm very willing to do that one. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Use the time, and we can agree on a timing, and it is like our payback to our colleagues to give them an idea about these systems.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. By that, I think we are going to conclude now. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me, and hope to see you again in the next seminar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.